I've been through this gate. The first time I came through this gate was 1958 when we came on this place to day lease, archery day lease for deer. At that time, the legal buck had to have 3 points at least 1 inch long. And does were not legal, but they were starting to make a legal deal. Does had not been hunted until the early 30s. This is the Mesquite Flat blind. Correction. I don't know which blind this is. Yeah, this is Mesquite Flat. Anyhow, this was, I think, the third or fourth blind I built. This is a view from one side of the blind. From the right side. This is the view from the front. I've shot a number of turkey straight out from here, and also a lot of good deer. This is a view from the other side. Not been shot many deer this way for some reason. Only does seem to come this way. This was on what I call the little tank. It's a good blind, and saw a lot of deer here, but not any big major ones, but a lot of deer. We killed a lot of deer off this blind. Okay, now I got it going. This is a good blind. It was over a tank. The problem was we could never keep any water in the tank. It just wouldn't hold, and we haven't got that kind of rain. This is a good view. This is blind that Jordan killed his first deer right out of this blind, right here. This used to be open, but it's grown up. Nobody's taken care of it in the last 4 or 5 years. So it was at one time a good blind, though. Is a good blind. This is the first blind I built of new. And I built it 5 by 5. And Charlie gave me a hard time about, oh, wasting plywood, and all that. And then all of a sudden, he tried it, and he said, hey, that's great. That's what we should have done. This is the first blind. Missed a good 8-point buck down here one time. At least I think I missed him. I never find any blood. Wanted to hunt this blind and try to get here and hunt it at lunch, because they say the deer know the hunters go in and for breakfast, and they run around during the day. And sure enough, about 12:30, I shot a nice 8-point out this way. This blind also was very good for turkey in the afternoon. I don't know how many gobblers I shot out of this in the afternoon, but quite a few. A good place for turkeys.
It's full of owl.
Oh yeah, this deer, we've had a problem with this. Bees have taken over it and owned it more than we have, but it's still a good blind.
Yeah,
Back road blind. This is my favorite blind. I've got more good deer off this blind than any blind I've ever sat in. In fact, I shot the last deer that I'll ever shoot on this ranch out of that blind just recently. This is off the right side, a very good shot, good distance, about 220 yards to the very far end. The last buck I shot was probably about 120 yards. This is a feeder there. We had a feeder there. I shot a lot of turkey out in this area right here, and I've shot turkey all around this blind. And either way, they love this blind. This is the left side, and I've seen a lot of turkey. One time I had like 40 turkey on this road right here in front of me. It's a great place for turkey. John says their turkey are still coming regularly. So it's a great place for turkey and deer. This is a good blind. I shot a really nice 8-point buck out of this one and saw some others. We see a lot of deer, but usually we're over in the other people's pasture and we couldn't shoot them. But it's a good blind. This is called the white blind. This is the last blind I built, and you can see the steps didn't hold up. So obviously I'm not going to crawl up there and take any pictures. But this is in the middle of the high line, and shot a lot of hogs out of this blind. Never got a decent deer though. Good blind though. A lot of people used it. This is the old windmill. When I first came out here, that windmill was working and pumping, and the little pot over here was a little lake. And that's the pump house next to it. It had a tank up on top of it. This is the back of the little house that John and I built so that we'd have a place to sleep out here and be comfortable when Charlie had his girlfriend out here for a while. She lived with him for about a year or so. This is the house. First peak of it was all we had, and then Charlie put on a 16 by 20 extension, which made it much better. The porch off to the left I built on after I retired and came out here, so I'd have a place where we'd have a place we could work and a place where I could park my truck. And shortly thereafter, Lonnie brought a nice red truck, had a good paint job, but it needed an engine. And it stayed there till about 3 or 4 years ago. But anyhow, the porch on the front, you can barely see it, but I had to rebuild that when it blew off. Back in the back there is what we call the Honyard Hilton. We built a little house up there, a sleeping house. And the one you see there is a smokehouse that Charlie had to have. They never smoked anything in it, but it was great for storage. This is the little house we built. It was a tough shed, and I went inside, insulated it, wired it, insulated it, then built the porch on it, so we had a nice place to sleep. Had air conditioning and lots of electricity, so we used electric heat, so it was a great place to live. Nice little house, and we used it real well. This is where Charlie was found, and this is basically his grave site. So I'm taking this as I leave the ranch. I'm on my way out now. This is going out the gate for the last time. The last time after 60 years of being on this property, hunting and enjoying it and having a wonderful time with Charlie and all my friends. Again, 60 years is a long, long time.